Hello everyone, Fanta here, you're watching FANTAVISION, and today is another Tales from Retail. That is right, we're actually doing more Tales from Retails, like real ones. Real Tales from Retails, because for a while it's been another type of video that's talking about retail, sort of, but it's not talking about personal experience, really. I just kind of tied it into my personal experience so I could keep saying, I've posted a Tales from Retail on Tuesday for years, which I'm still going to keep saying because it's still technically sort of true. Today I'm drinking again Sierra Nevada. Hazy little thing. I don't know if they're actually in Nevada, because that would make me go, oh, maybe I don't actually want to drink this, but I've already drank from it, so. Today we're going to be discussing the technology that the retail stores have really been just, man, they are ahead of the curve. I mean, they have some crazy advanced technology there. I know I've referenced what it was like at GameStop. I've talked briefly about how this stuff there evolved, but I really do want to dive into depth because some people really don't understand what you're dealing with on a daily basis while working in a retail environment. And I want to thank Carolina King 843 from the FANTAVISION Discord, which you should 100% join if you haven't already. I mean, we're all stuck inside, so why not just hang out and chat, you know? So let's start with GameStop, because I feel like GameStop had the most changes over the course of the time I was there. And of course, it was the place that I worked the longest. I worked at GameStop for about 4 to 5 years. And during those years, we saw a lot of things come and go. The nice thing about my store, and I can kind of compare it to other stores, I've done comparisons to other stores before, but I do want to focus in on the technology aspect. The difference between our store and a lot of other places is that they had zero control over that GameStop TV. Now, why does it matter if you have control over the TV, you might be wondering? That's because they crank that volume incredibly loud to the point where you can't really hear yourself, you can kind of hear the customer, and it's incredibly obnoxious. I mean, it's obnoxious not only working there, but it's even obnoxious just shopping there because of how loud the TV is. And again, these GameStop TVs have just these same like 6 or 7 ads and videos going all day long. So if you have to hear this very loud, like I said, even in the store when you're shopping, it gets repetitive. Imagine working there for 8 hours, hearing the same things over and over and over, blasting out your eardrums. Now, this does kind of turn into a dull roar after a while. Your brain tunes it out. But then your dickhead of a coworker goes, oh, I don't think I've seen this one. And you're like, I've seen this one. You have seen this one. Why can you not tune it out? And then you start listening to the TV again, and you're like, oh, it's begun. Ours, you could turn it down, and I did that as soon as I became a manager. I did that every single morning I opened because screw that. It was so annoying. It was either you had to hear Captain Redbeard in the morning, and he's just so loud. So you turn him down, and then it's quiet the rest of the day. Sometimes other managers would come in, like the district manager or the main store manager, and they'd be like, you can't have it that low. But they didn't really complain too much. They just turned it up a tiny bit just because managers, they have to find something wrong so they can justify their jobs because that's how managers work. But they knew it was annoying, and they didn't want to deal with it either, so they kept it pretty low. Another thing that was in GameStop that I actually miss and I don't really understand why they removed were these little kiosks. It was like this touch screen, which you really wouldn't want now, but it was a touch screen where you could scan things on your phone, and you could scan games, sorry. You could scan barcodes of games, and it would pop up with trailers, reviews, stuff like that, and it was really cool. It was a novel idea to have something in the store besides the associates that could help you out with the games. Now, this was another source of noise, which I immediately muted every day, and I believe everybody else did as well, because it's just a cacophony of noise after having all the demo units on, having the kiosk on, and having the TV on. So we pretty much muted everything except for the TV, which we turned really low. But if you went into GameStops where they didn't have control over any of that, or the associates just kind of submitted to the will of whatever tyrannical manager they had at the time, it's just an awful shopping experience. So ours was a nice, quieter store because of us muting everything. But the kiosk itself was awesome, and I don't remember why they got rid of it. I don't even remember when they got rid of it. I just know they did, and I have not seen it in any other GameStop. Maybe your local one has one, but it was just such a cool thing. You could just, like, even if I didn't know what a game was, I could be like, well, let's just scan it over here and we'll find out. And then they scan it and they go, oh, that's the game. Let's look at what some people had to say, and let's watch some trailers and look at the screenshots, and you can read what the game's about. And it was just a great tool to help customers and myself figure out what a game was. I mean, while the store was dead, I would just scan random games just to see what the game was like and to see what people were saying about it. Of course, you can do that on your smartphone nowadays, but just having it in store as another resource was just a cool thing to have. Other pieces of technology that kept cycling in and out were different in-store display units. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, besides the game demo units, we'll get to that, but that's kind of self-explanatory. Companies would come in and they would pay GameStop to advertise their product in a more interactive way. So Skylanders, for example, they had that screen and you could, select what Skylander you wanted to see their intro, and it kind of explained the game to people, and it was really cool. The Amiibo thing was also a really cool thing, and it kept getting updated. And the other aspect of the Amiibo display was the fact that the Nintendo rep would come in quite often to change out the different software in it and to update it and to change the videos, sometimes to change the Amiibo in it. So it was constantly refreshed with new content, and it was something that was actually really interesting to go check out occasionally. Also, it meant the Nintendo guy had to come in, and whenever he came in, he would just show off the newest stuff from Nintendo. He'd give us free stuff all the time. I mean, he was a really cool guy. I could actually have a conversation with him, and it was just somebody you could actually have a conversation with. And I understand, I'm repeating myself here, that you could talk to this guy, but the fact that you could talk to a person, I don't know, when those dead days and you're just trying to kill time, it's so slow when you're just hearing that TV cycle and there's nothing to do. You've cleaned the store, you've done everything. This guy comes in, he's telling you about all the new Nintendo stuff. And the thing is, I wasn't really even into Nintendo back then. I had the Wii, I had pretty much every generation, but I was like, whatever. The Wii kind of soured me on Nintendo for a long time because it was just a kiddie console to me with crappier graphics, and I didn't like the motion aspect of it. I didn't want to flail my arms about when I got home from work. I just wanted to play a game and relax. That was also during the time of the 3DS launch, and the 3DS was a very exciting console to me because it had a new Animal Crossing, had a lot of great Mario games, it had Mario Kart, and a lot of great stuff on it. So it's cool to hear from him about all the new stuff coming out, and he'd show me all the new Nintendo technology that they gave him for free. Now let's discuss the demo units. The demo units were the different consoles that people could play various game demos on, and of course those cycled through the generations. I was there when they swapped over from the 360 and the PS3 and all that stuff to the Xbox One and PS4 demo units. Oh, and the Wii U as well. It's kind of funny thinking back because I think I was more excited about those demo units coming into the store than I was for the to actually buy the game consoles myself. Because I knew that it was going to be something that I'd be seeing every day that I worked, and it was also going to be another source of distraction because I could help different customers. I could play with customers sometimes if they're like, hey, I kind of want to play this fighting game, but I don't want to play against the AI. I want to see what's against person. I want this game demo set up, stuff like that. It was another thing that was going to be a distraction in my daily work life, and it was kind of a cool thing to set up. I got to help set up the unit, and it was interesting seeing all the different customers be excited about the new generation of consoles and have a chance to play it in the store. So you get to see a lot of like first interactions with a new console. And to me that's special. I don't know why, just seeing like the joy in people's eyes as they're like trying something new, or like a kid has never, like they can't afford the console yet, but they know they're saving for it, so they get to kind of try out something before they buy it. Because I remember when I was a kid, I would play on the different units as I was saving up for them in the stores, and it just got me really hyped up. So the day you bring home the console yourself, it's like going to the arcade and finally bringing home the cabinet. That's kind of what I compare it to. I know, of course, there's a giant cost difference between an arcade cabinet and a console, but it's kind of like going to an arcade where it's like, oh, the games are here, but they're only here for now. And you can save up, and then now they're home. I don't know. It was just something that really made me happy. Now, the computers and the printer. Oh my god, I hate printers. I feel like everybody on the planet hates printers because they just seem to always have issues. And whenever there was an issue with the printer, you had to restart the entire computer. And the thing is, with GameStop's computers, they're not independent computers. There's like a main computer and a side computer. If you have restart the main one, it's gonna knock off the secondary one. It's such a pain in the ass, because then you're down for a solid like 20 minutes, because of course these computers don't have solid state drives. And of course they take 10 minutes longer than most computers in existence. I feel like they were running Windows 7 or Windows XP. It was some really old operating system. For the time, I guess when I was working, Windows 7 wasn't super old, but I think it was Windows XP. I think it was a really old operating system, and I'm like, what are you doing? This is such a pain in the ass every single time. It takes so long to boot up. And I don't know why their shell takes so long to boot up. It just doesn't make any sense. And then it has to connect to the internet. And then sometimes the internet would go down, and they'd have to get that fixed. And then sometimes that also required a computer restart. So you'd have customers in your store standing there going, are you kidding me? And it's like, we can't do anything right now. Our computers are down. So if you want to hang out for like 15 minutes, they'll be back online. And it's just, it was such a pain in the ass. But let's use that segue to move over to Walmart's computers, because Walmart's computers were even worse. These things were ancient. I don't know from what year they came from, but some of them were like the old terminal-based computers. I don't know if they're still like this anywhere, but I know the pickup area and one of the electronics, ironically, computers was like this old terminal thing. And you just hit the number that corresponds, and it's green on black. It's just such ancient technology. You feel like you're playing a Fallout minigame just to check a person out. I definitely don't miss those computers at all, and Walmart was by far the worst experience when it came to technology. Other things we had to deal with were, of course, these scanners, which all were perfectly fine when I first started working there. And I only worked there for 8 months, but over the course of that 8 months, we had a solid 2 that worked just fine. The other ones you had to hold the batteries in, but if you bumped them a certain way, they reset. And the newer ones, which were supposed to fix everything, were even more of a pain in the ass because the touchscreen was really finicky. And we had these like giant ones that were guns. And it was just, I hated that one, but most of the time those didn't have a problem with the battery, and they worked. They were just clunky and heavy and just a pain in the ass to keep on you. The other ones were still clunky. They were huge. They were about this thick, and the battery would constantly pop out of these things. I don't know if the associates were throwing these things against the wall, or if they're trying to knock off something that was far and didn't want to get a ladder and it kept hitting the ground. But every single shift, I feel like they got more beat to hell, and they worked less. Whether it was just part of the screen that was dead or a couple more buttons that didn't work. It's just, they kept degrading over time. And other departments kept stealing them from us because we had 2 working ones, and I swear to God, another department switched their broken one with one of our good ones. Because when I came in, the battery was like taped to the damn thing. One of them, the battery life was a solid like 30 minutes, so you only had 30 minutes to use it and then you had to go charge it again. It was crazy. I constantly kept thinking to myself, how is this a multi-billion-dollar company that can't even afford to keep itself running smoothly? Because this not only affected us, it affected the customers. Now, I hated the scanners, but what I hated even more were, again, the damn printers. Because when they worked, I loved them. It was great. When they didn't work, you had to turn them off, turn them on, turn them off, turn them on, take the battery out, put them back in, turn it on, turn it off, turn it on, and you kept praying that this damn thing would work. And it seemed like they worked about half of the time. It was so frustrating. Good Lord. I mean, I liked the process of picking things for people, to get it to go, because you get to walk around the store. You weren't just standing in electronics doing nothing. It gave you something to do. But when the printer wasn't working, you're just like, come on. And also, not only were they hard to get to work, they were hard to find. Because I feel like the store had like 2 handheld printers in the entire store for all of the departments to use. I mean, we always had to track down other departments' printers, or somebody stole ours, and it's like, what is happening? Again, you think to yourself, this is a successful company? How did they ever get off the ground? I don't understand. Since we're talking about printers, let's talk about the photo printer. The photo printer was a nightmare. The photo printer was like a Fuji thing, and it had like a special paper, and when it worked, again, it was great. Loved it. It was phenomenal. It was fast. It was not super loud. It was great. But when it didn't work, you had to like call the Fuji people, and you had to have a specialist come in to fix it. What is up with printers just being garbage? I don't understand it. That scene from Office Space is just, it's way too accurate. I would love to show you it. You should just look it up. But I can't, because it's got copyrighted music and it's a movie. So the last piece of technology I can think of when it comes to Walmart are the different security systems. Now, the spider wraps, it's pretty funny, because if you get one of those magnet things online, I'm sure you can buy them off of eBay. You can unlock all of them. I'm not telling you to do it. I'm just saying it's very easy. You can do the same with GameStop. In fact, they use the same exact magnetic key. So essentially, a GameStop employee could take his keys over to Walmart and just start stealing shit. I mean, they've improved the security a little bit. Now they've got pretty much glass cases everywhere. But when they used to just have the locking pegs, you could just put the little magnet thing, slide it off, and steal it. A lot of people wouldn't even do that. In fact, I don't think anybody ever did that, which surprises me. But at the same time, if you're stealing from Walmart, you're probably not the brightest person in the world. But the real annoying piece of technology when it comes to security was the damn camera's display. Because if you were thinking about buying a camera and you for some reason came to Walmart, don't do that, by the way. They have no camera selection and the cameras there are garbage. But if you were for some reason going to Walmart and you're wanting to look at cameras, you just couldn't. Why? Because every single alarm, if you looked at those cameras wrong, would just start going off. And it was very loud and scared the hell out of so many customers. And then, of course, you gotta try to figure out how to get it to stop. You gotta seat the camera right. You gotta open up the thing that's locking. You gotta turn it off manually. It was such a pain in the ass. I feel like that security system never worked. And the reason I think it never worked is because people just steal cameras anyway. So if you look at them wrong, it goes off. If you steal the camera, you're fine. It's not gonna go off. It's just, it's just funny to me how pathetically bad that security system is. So I think that about wraps up the different technologies that you use on a daily basis when it comes to retail. You've got dated computers, scanners that barely work, printers that definitely don't work, and managers that expect you to work flawlessly despite all that. I hope you guys enjoyed today's episode. Comment down below in what retail environment you work. Send me any stories if you guys have any pieces of technology or any stories at all about retail you'd like me to tell on this channel. If you've got any more video ideas, please let me know in the Discord or the comments down below. And please put a question mark or something like that so it's easy to find when I search comments. Thanks for watching, everyone. Please leave a like if you guys like the video, subscribe for more content, and as always, have a fantastic day. See you guys. Pretty good beer. Not my favorite. So like I said, the background's different. A little bit different. I don't know if you guys like it or not. I'm at my dad's house. I am turned the storage room into a temporary office. And I am now in my old bedroom that has no anything that I used to have in it. It's just pretty much an empty room with a bed in it because of this whole, thing. And Yeah, it's interesting. Strange times we live in. It's been a hell of a week, and I hope you guys have all been safe. I hope nobody you know has been affected so far, and please let me know, because you're still watching. You're obviously a dedicated fan. Thank you, and let me know what needs to be fixed. If you think the lighting needs to be brighter, I can change the ISO on the camera. I figured out how to do that after like 2 years, 3 years, a long time. And I can try to do something else to adjust the light. But yeah, this should evolve over time. I brought the green screen over, so I'll still be doing green screen videos. But again, I got to figure out the lighting. Right now, I've got a light on top of a desk, and I've got this light right next to the camera. It's a very cramped room. I don't know if you can tell. I'm touching the wall right now. That's how small it is. Very small room. But because of this new situation, I will not... I'm going to try to figure out how to stream Animal Crossing. I might just hook it up to a monitor or something. I don't know. I'll definitely be streaming PC games. I know Bannerlord just came out. Mountain Blade 2. That game looks awesome. I've got a couple review codes for the Xbox, and I will still be working on the Animal Crossing video. It's just during this time of moving and everything, I haven't had a chance. So, thank you for your patience again, and stay safe.